Victor Robles' suspension has been reduced to 7 games. We'll discuss how the Mariners can maneuver that as they kick off a 3-series road trip tonight in Cleveland. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Friday, August 29th, 2025. This is Tutting Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the promo code Locked On MLB, that's LOCKEDON MLB, at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. And as always, if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, you can check out our Patreon. All you have to do to check that out is click the link in the description of this episode. So on today's show, we'll get you set for the Mariners' upcoming series with the Guardians this weekend, and we'll also talk a little bit about the Rangers, who are beat up and can potentially offload a few pieces onto waivers in the next day. But we're actually going to start here talking a little bit about Victor Robles, who finally had his suspension appeal heard today and got that suspension reduced from 10 to 7 games. So he's not even going to miss this entire road trip. He'll be eligible to return on September 6th against the Atlanta Braves. So that's awesome. And the Mariners are only going to have to operate with 25 men on their roster for 3 games before rosters expand to 28 league-wide. The Mariners can obviously expand to 27 on September 1st. So this worked out pretty well for the Mariners overall, but I'm curious, when they get to September 1st here, which will be the start of their upcoming series with the Rays, what do? Do they add 2 position players because they're missing Robles? Do they still just add a position player and a pitcher? Who specifically are those players? Colby, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a little tough to say. I think you probably should add 2 position players. I don't know if there's anybody in the org who, on the pitching side of things, who is demanding a call up right now. I mean, it's pretty bleak. I guess Michael Fulmer, who they recently brought in, could be a guy to keep an eye on here. I know he's pitched a couple of times, so it could be a guy like Fulmer, and that would make some sense because you're taking a shot, and it doesn't really cost you anything to take that shot. And if you can get, the Michael Fulmer we saw a couple of years ago for even a month, that would be massive. So maybe it is Fulmer as a pitcher. I guess that would make some sense. Offensively, you're covered in the outfield. You have your 4 outfielders, but because Rayleigh and Canzone are so similar, maybe you want a right-handed hitting outfielder to kind of platoon with those guys. And I mean, I still don't think the Mariners have a very good plan or idea of how those 2 are going to, divvy up at bats. They have been giving, before Robles returned, Canzone would just play against the lefties. So I imagine that's what we'll see tonight with Logan Allen on the mound. But so the Mariners don't really have a really interesting right-handed hitting outfield prospect ready to go. The closest thing would probably be Samad Taylor, who, we've seen, and he's had a very nice year down there in Tacoma, but the Mariners have just had multiple opportunities to give this guy a chance, and they just really haven't. So I don't know if that's something they want to do. It's also worth noting that, the call up or the extra player could be somebody not in the org right now. I would say that's unlikely at this stage, but there still is a couple of days left for teams to place players on waivers and for teams to claim them and still have them for their playoff push and in the playoffs themselves if they still want. So there's probably a few names we could talk about there, but inside the org, I think it should be Harry Ford. I think it should be Leo Rivas, one of those guys. It may be somewhere down the line it is, but for now, in the short term, it seems like Samad Taylor is the closest, doppelganger you can find in the org right now to what Victor Robles was giving you. So Samad Taylor makes some sense on September 1st. I don't think he'll be here for quite a long time. I still think Leo Rivas makes the most sense, though, overall, especially with the continued struggles now of Cole Young over the last couple of weeks and JP Crawford. It'd be nice to give them days off and go with a guy who's getting on base at a ridiculous amount in AAA. So I still think Rivas and Harry Ford, giving him some experience before you probably want to have a third catcher on your playoff roster. I think that calling him up makes a lot of sense, but you don't have to do that right away. So, yeah, if I had to guess, I would say maybe Michael Fulmer. They give that a shot for a couple weeks in September, and then they call up Samad Taylor to kind of play the Victor Robles role, and then we'll see how it goes. But obviously, Victor will get added back, and then I think at that point, Samad Taylor gets sent back down, and that's when you could see somebody like a Leo Rivas get recalled, because again, he makes more sense in the short term than Harry Ford. But I wouldn't rule out Ford getting a cup of coffee late in September to kind of get his feet wet if they do indeed plan on carrying 3 catchers on their playoff roster, which we talked about yesterday. The way that they use Mitch Garver against lefties, they should carry 3 catchers on their playoff. So.
Yeah, I think it should be Harry Ford. Logan Allen is the only lefty that they're facing, I think, on this entire road trip, if I'm not mistaken.
They get Chris Sale in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. But is that after Robles returns?
Yes, I believe that is the day that Robles is eligible.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how important they'll view having a righty outfielder on the roster in Robles' absence. I think if they do go with 2 position players, it might actually wind up being Rivas and Miles Mastrobuoni. Because right now, according to Dan Wilson, your backups at shortstop and third base are, well, at shortstop is your starting second baseman and Cole Young, and at third base it's Donovan Solano. Yikes. So Mastrobuoni has obviously played a bit of third for this club this year. He's looked fine doing it. He can go out into the outfield in an emergency situation, pinched run, etc. Rivas, why isn't he on the roster already? Talked about this. So absolutely should be Rivas for at least one of the spots, I would say. And then the other spot, I would go with Harry Ford. But if I had to guess, it would probably either be Mastrobuoni or Michael Fulmer, like you said. Or maybe it's like Amina or Lau.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Fulmer is you can put him on the 40-man before the deadline and have him up, and then give him a couple outings, and if it doesn't work, Legumina and Lau are still in the org, and you can just go get them whenever. It's
as far as Lau goes, by the way, since he was just recently sent down, would his 10 days be up by the time that they expand rosters? I don't think so.
No.
Does that still apply to rosters expanding? Do they still have to wait the 10 days?
Actually, I think you can call up anybody on your 40-man.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't think it's going to come up, but I'm not 100% sure on what rules get suspended for the September call-ups, but again, there's just not a lot of options for arms to call up, and it feels like all their best ones are probably already on the major league roster, which they don't have 13 good ones, so that's woof. Sure would be nice if a couple of teams will put some guys on waivers. It's still a big question mark for me, is that bullpen, and I just don't see the arms. I mean, like, you want to put Biles in or Cleveland on the 40-man and call them up.
Hobbs.
Yeah, like, I guess fine, but throwing them into the mix in the middle of a playoff race, it's pretty risky, but you might not have a choice because the other options aren't very good either. So, we'll see what they want to do. But Rivas should be up by now already. And he just makes so much sense especially since Cole Young is really been bad over the last couple of weeks. JP Crawford's not exactly lighting up the box score either. So having a guy who you can actually play at second base regularly and take some pressure off of Cole Young and let him work on some things seems pretty valuable right now. I mean, Leo Rivas and his 480 on base percentage in the number 9 spot makes a lot more sense than Cole Young, who is struggling with pop-ups right now. A lot of pop-ups from Cole Young. So we'll see what they want to do. But I mean, for now, they're just playing a man down, and by September 1st, there could be 1 or 2 new players in the org, depending on how waivers go and who gets, waived and all that. So we'll see. We won't really have a good idea on this for another 3 days, but I think rosters expand. I think it'll be Fulmer would be my guess. And then I think the bat would probably be Taylor for a couple days, but maybe not because, like you said, they won't be facing any lefties, at least in the rotation.
Yeah, so I just don't know how important they view that, or they would view that. So
yeah, so we'll see what they do. But if I had to guess, I guess I'd probably go Fulmer, and I guess I'll go Rivas because they aren't facing many lefties until Robles gets back.
Yeah. Well, like you said, hopefully a couple of these teams will put some of their guys on waivers. The Mariners can get better that way. The Rangers are a team everyone is looking at right now, waiting for them to make a move on that front. We'll talk about them in just a moment, but first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by Upside.
Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON, that's SEASON, and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. And at first I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code SEASON for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. For instant reactions following every Mariners game, be sure to tune in to the Mariners postcast with Anderson Hurst and Christopher Crawford, available on both the Locked On Mariners YouTube and podcast feeds. Locked On has also put together a survey to learn more about our listeners, make your favorite podcasts even better. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes the survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Either scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description. So the Rangers are in a rough spot at this point. Their position in the standings hasn't really changed since they added at the deadline. They've now lost Nathan Eovaldi and Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. It's about time for them to wave the white flag, I would think. And a lot of teams are kind of anxiously awaiting for them to do so because they have quite a few guys that they could place on waivers here in order to get back under the luxury tax threshold that could really help some contending teams, including your Seattle Mariners. So we're talking about Merrill Kelly, Phil Maton, Patrick Corbin, Chris Martin, Sean Armstrong, Hobie Milner, even Adolis Garcia. So who of those names, Colby, interests you the most?
None of them. No. Definitely one of the bullpen arms.
Yeah.
I think now the other thing you have to consider is how many of them even get to the Mariners in the waiver order. And the lower their salary is, the less likely they are to get to you. So you have to factor all that in. So
how does it work? Let's talk about that real quick.
So yeah, these waivers work a little bit different than normal waivers or DFAs. The claim starts with the worst record. The claim order starts with the worst record in the same league that the team waiving the player is in. So for the Rangers, that means the American League teams get first crack at them, and the waiver order goes from worst record down to the best record. So in terms of playoff teams, Seattle would actually have the highest waiver priority of all the teams currently in the playoffs. Now, a team like, the Rays or the Guardians or the Royals might claim players just to block the Mariners from getting some, but those teams are also very, very cheap. So they might not want to claim, $1 million this late in the year and just to stop the Mariners from getting a guy who might throw 10 innings for them. So it's one of those things where there's a lot of factors that go into play here. But yes, anybody the Rangers specifically would place on waivers, there's a decent chance they would get to the Mariners before they would have an opportunity to claim them. So not a guarantee, but there's a pretty decent chance. So, that being said, it's got to be the relievers for the Rangers. They have pretty good bullpen. Phil Maton, I know he's been bad recently, but really good season. He's a veteran. He's been there. He's pitching a lot of big games. That's a guy that makes a lot of sense. Chris Martin, kind of the same thing, but Martin's hurt right now, so he's working his way back. They think he'll be able to pitch this year and pretty soon as well, but that's kind of one of those ones where you have to trust your doctors and all that, and trust the medicals. So it's a bit of a risk there, but I think the relievers are pretty easily the thing here. If they place Merrill Kelly on waivers, I think you have to claim him. You're only gonna pay him $1 million, give or take, for the rest of the year. He is better than Miller. He is better than Luis Castillo, and I would much rather give him the ball in a playoff start than either of those two guys, based on what we've seen recently. And again, it doesn't cost that much. It really, $1 million is nothing. If you get one playoff start out of him, you've already made more than $1 million just from being in that game. So yeah, I think, Kelly should be, like, if he gets to them, yes, absolutely do it. Put Miller in the pen for the rest of the year, and then there's kind of your bullpen addition, right? You just, kill two birds with one stone. I know PETA doesn't like when we say that, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Kelly, so I guess technically Kelly should be the prize here, but I don't know if they're gonna waive him or not. So Maton, definitely, Martin, definitely, those guys can help you. And you desperately need some depth and some length in your bullpen, and the Rangers have a couple of guys who could provide that for you.
So the Mariners are actually in a pretty good spot. Again, the Royals are kind of the big obstacle there, but I do think they will be able to have the opportunity to claim at least one of these guys that the Rangers potentially waive. Sean Armstrong is someone that I'm really interested in, because obviously that's someone that the Mariners are very familiar with. This front office is very familiar with. 9.52 Ks per nine this year, 2.65 walks per nine, 2.50 ERA, 3.10 FIP. He's been worth a win this year. Sean Armstrong is quietly having a very good year out of the Rangers bullpen. Hobie Milner has been death to lefties. So if you want to add another lefty to the pen, that
pretty
would be
good
a
against
great
righties too, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah. And even if it's not Merrill Kelly and you're looking for a starter here, if they waive Patrick Corbin, if I'm not mistaken, has had a pretty good year. I don't know if he's fallen off recently.
He's at a negative B WAR, but the overall numbers are pretty good. Like, he's probably better than Bryce Miller right now.
Yeah, his numbers have regressed a bit since the last time I looked into him. So that's on me. But 7.49 Ks per nine, 2.95 walks per nine, 4.33 ERA, 4.27 FIP. His last time out, he went 8 innings against the Angels, scoreless ball.
Nice. Again, the important thing to keep in mind here when we talk about all these guys, the Mariners have been running through some kind of rotation of Taylor Saucedo and Sarin Lau and Jackson Coar. They've had to use two of those guys. Right, they've had two of those guys in their bullpen for pretty much the entire year. They just kind of circled through. There is plenty of room to add multiple arms via waivers, and honestly, if you can prevent the Astros from picking up any of these guys,
that's another big thing. Yeah, that's another big aspect of this. Same thing with like the Yankees, the Red Sox.
Right, exactly. You can stop these guys from being used against you in the playoffs. And this idea, we can't claim 5 guys. I mean, like, you can. There's nothing saying you can't. Will they? Sure. Probably not, but I think they'd be stupid not to. Like, because when you add up all these salaries, like let's say they actually waive, just hypothetically, right? Obviously not going to happen. They waive Milner, Kelly, Martin, Maton, Armstrong, right? Yeah. Those guys, their combined salary that you would have to pay them is going to be like $2-3 million. Yeah, maybe 4. And it's like, those guys are all going to be on your playoff roster. They all have easy guys to like knock off the roster. It's not like, oh, I don't know how we fit Sean Armstrong into this roster. It's like Taylor Saucedo is pitching for you right now. No offense, Sauce, but like, you're not it this year. Sean Armstrong is. There's plenty of room for these guys. And again, you can prevent, and maybe we'll let Maton slide through because he's struggling and he can go beat it with the Astros, but we're not going to let the Astros get, Chris Martin and Hobie Milner. No, it's not going to happen. So I would like Seattle to be aggressive. They were aggressive in adding payroll at the deadline. I think they should be aggressive here now on this August deadline. But again, it's all on the Rangers. Do they want to waive these guys again? They should, but will they?
But will they?
I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah, but if they do, I mean, this could be a gift. This could be a saving grace for the Mariners after they, obviously they crush it at the deadline going out and getting Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez. But then on deadline day, they chose not to do the extra thing that they needed to do. Yeah. And that was add another bullpen arm on top of Caleb Ferguson, a more impactful bullpen arm than Caleb Ferguson. They didn't do that. They tried with Duran, didn't get him. But apparently Ferguson was their pivot, quote unquote. That was not a good enough pivot from Yohan Duran. Yeah. So yeah, if you're able to get a Sean Armstrong or, a Phil Maton or a Danny Coulombe, Hobie Milner, whoever.
Right.
That would be huge. Cannot be overstated. That would be huge for this club. All right. So the Mariners are kicking off a 3-game series with the Guardians in Cleveland starting tonight. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is once again brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. So the Mariners kicking off another 3-series road trip tonight in Cleveland. They got 3 against the Guardians this weekend, starting with a matchup between George Kirby and Logan Allen tonight. Again, he is the only lefty you're going to see in this series. Logan Gilbert against Gavin Williams tomorrow, and then Bryce Miller against Tanner Bybee on Sunday. Which of these matchups stands out the most to you?
It's pretty good matchups. Tonight's is the one you're most likely to win. I would say you have a clear advantage, although, recent success notwithstanding, the Mariners against left-handed pitching, so we'll see there. But this is the biggest talent gap. Gavin Williams versus Logan Gilbert's the most fun one.
It's a great one.
2 really good pitchers. Now we'll see what version of Logan Gilbert you get. That kind of skews everything because who knows? You might get crappy Logan Gilbert, which is happening about 60% of the time right now. So who knows? Yeah. And then, the Sunday matchup is interesting because it's kind of like 2 dark horse Cy Young candidates entering the year who have just had terrible years. They've been bad this year. Yeah. So it's kind of like a get right game for both of them. I would say in the hierarchy, I trust Bryce Miller the least. So it feels like the 2 games you want to win are Friday and Saturday. But in terms of the most interesting pitching matchup, it's probably Saturdays. That's a really fun matchup, and we'll see how it goes. Again, Logan, it's really tough to count on anything from Logan right now, but he is coming off of his best start. And he does have an extra day's rest. So, hopefully you can get 6. Doesn't necessarily have to strike out 13, but if you can go 6 and, give you 1 or 2, then you have an opportunity here. The Guardians bullpen is not quite as scary after some
developments.
Let's call them indiscretions from the big guy in the back end. So, we'll see. I mean, Cleveland's still kind of a rough matchup for you. They're athletic. They run around a little bit. Stephen Kwan, they make a lot of contact, which we know the Mariners really struggle to put guys away with 2 strikes. Cleveland's really good at that. So, it's not an ideal matchup for Seattle, but they do, I would say the pitching matchups favor them in at least 2 of these 3 games, but you got to produce, and we got to see the offense has to carry over what they did. And hopefully it's, not just relying on the 3-run home run, but if they get them, great, but not necessarily needing them to score all your runs. So we'll see how it goes. Julio back out on the road as well. He's hit much better away from the, you know what? It's also the homecoming of Josh Naylor.
Yep, it is. It is. Yeah. He'll get to see his brother tonight.
Nails is going to hit 3 bombs this weekend.
This Guardians team is really heavily reliant upon pitching. It's Steven Kwan and Jose Ramirez offensively. Kyle Manzardo a little bit. He started to turn around. But for the most part, this offense, not great. It's not great. So this is an offense that, guys like Logan Gilbert should have some success against. But really, when it comes to Logan this year, specifically 2025 Logan Gilbert, I'm just like, can you give me 6 and 3 earned runs? And then with Bryce, can you give me 5 and 3 earned runs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even tonight, Kirby's not exactly been the model of consistency this year either. So
so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But obviously that like you said, without Clase in the bullpen, this is a less scary Guardians bullpen. They still got some good. They still got some dudes. Obviously, Kate Smith is a big name in there. Hunter Gaddis is very good as well. So it's an interesting series, and this is an opportunity for the Mariners to officially put the Guardians to bed. I think you can make an argument that they're already done, but you can officially just kind of be done with them if you take 2 or 3 or even sweep them here.
Yeah.
So and this is a great opportunity to stack some wins on this road trip in general. Again, going up against 3 mediocre teams.
It also just be nice to play well on the road.
Yeah, so this is a series that they should win. This is a series that they're absolutely capable of sweeping, even with Miller pitching in the last game. So, we'll see if they can get it done, and hopefully they can get some help from the Tigers as far as the Royals go, and they can lower that magic number a bit more by the time that they head down to Florida to face the Rays in that minor league ballpark. All right, that is going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Titan Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Titan Gonzalez and Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. You can also find us on Instagram at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.